So she just goes completely crazy. She starts swearing at me, says you should go home to your mother for excitement. It's just... Welcome to another episode of ADV China. Today we're talking about scammers and scamming scammers. We've scammed another one, or at least wasted their time. Yeah, anyway, we've got to talk to you about the slightly darker side of this whole scamming industry that's coming out of China.
When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind works backwards, it's for a minute.
Here at ADV China, not only do we use a VPN every day, but we recommend that all of our audience does the same thing. And our favorite VPN to choose is NordVPN. It's the easiest to use. You can hop around to servers all around the world, and it keeps your internet safe. It secures your internet, and you can even double your protection now and change your IP twice to cover up your web traffic and add an extra layer of security. Not only that, you can block malware and ads, and also you can protect all of your data. Don't forget to use a VPN whenever you're online, especially when you're using internet that you don't trust, like public areas. If you go to nordvpn.com/ADVChina, not only are you going to get a huge discount off of a 2-year plan, but you're also going to get the malware feature for free. It's completely risk-free, so give it a shot and support the channel. Thanks.
Now, of course, people that willingly participate in scamming, the people that go ahead and join these call centers voluntarily and call you and scam you and trick you and send you messages and, hi, John, how's it been? Sorry, wrong number, but since we're on the line, let's be friends. Those people, whatever. But there are unwilling participants, and we wanted to talk about that first. Maybe you can get us started on that.
Yeah, so recently there's a lot of different criminal enterprises coming from mainland China that operate outside of mainland China. And it's almost tolerated by the government because what it does is it allows kind of unsavory people that were going to, kind of screw over Chinese people to do it elsewhere and then screw over people in other countries.
Yeah.
So they kind of turn a blind eye to it. They set up campaigns where they're like, we're going after the scammers or we're going after the Chinese international criminals, but it's just token. It's like a token to kind of like make people chill out and be like, oh, Chinese government's taking care of this.
Sure.
So what happens is, in particular, this happens in Burma, and it happens a little bit in Thailand, and very much so in Cambodia.
Yeah.
And there's a Chinatown in Cambodia that has basically been set up and taken over by Chinese gangsters. And we've had multiple people reach out to us that live in Cambodia that can confirm this whole area is set up with illegal gambling centers, human trafficking centers, drug trade, huge criminal enterprise coming out of here. And a big part of that is actually taking unwilling Chinese people, usually minors that are in rural towns.
Yeah, kind of like what you see behind us in the footage here.
Yeah. So every man's rural town, like the place where there's not a whole lot of opportunity, they'll take young people. And recently, 6 young kids were found in this village in Cambodia from different areas around China. And they were as low as 13, 14 years old. Yeah. And what they do is they get them and they basically put them on buses and they traffic them through China, through the Guangxi border, into Vietnam, into Burma, and then gradually down into Cambodia. And they put them in these call centers, and they make them work nonstop scamming people abroad. Now, basically, if you've ever gotten one of those messages that pretends to be someone else, oh, is Melinda there? And you're like, no, this isn't Melinda. You must have a wrong number. And they're like, oh, well, it's nice to meet you anyway. Sure. Which you've gone into in depth in your videos. But sometimes there is a chance that this is a massive criminal enterprise that is trafficking people to do so. Yeah. And the issue with that is that there's really no recourse for these people. There's no huge entourage of Chinese diplomats going around the world trying to find where their people are being trafficked to. It's really bad. And there's been instances where they get threatened, beaten, and if they try to leave or they don't want to, they don't want to do this anymore, not even for moral reasons, maybe they're not getting paid fairly, right? Yeah. And they don't want to be in a foreign country. They were told they're going to get some factory jobs somewhere else, right?
Sure.
All of a sudden, they get sent like videos of people getting tortured and beaten and be like, this is what's going to happen to you if you try to leave, right?
Yeah.
So it does get sinister and it
Yeah.
gets super dark, just like any criminal enterprise, especially coming out of China.
Sure.
We've seen multiple instances like this. But anyway, you got someone on the line, and it's
certainly
quite
did.
funny.
Well, I wanted to explain the evolution of these scams, the Xiaoju Pan scams, which are basically the slaughtering pig scam. I've gone in depth into it in the past, but that doesn't matter. I'll give you a quick run-up on how it works. It's all about raising the pig to slaughter the pig. That's where it gets its name from. And what that entails is spending a lot of time to gain the confidence of somebody. So in other words, raise the pig, and you befriend them, and then you get them interested in usually cryptocurrency, trading or something like that. And then you get them to the point where you slaughter them. In other words, you get them to transfer a large amount of money into your fake crypto wallet or whatever it is, and then you just take the money and run. And that's how it works. And it's been incredibly successful. I think in 2021 they did 500 something million.
Hundreds of millions of dollars, yeah.
Yeah, almost
In
$600 million in scams. And that's in 1 year. I mean, these guys are professional at what they do, and they're very sneaky. For instance, the previous scammer that I baited, all right, they were using the pictures of an Instagram model. This is what they do. They go steal pictures usually. Now, it's important that I tell you this because it's now evolved. You need to be aware of the way things have evolved now. But they go and steal pictures of, for instance, an Instagram model or just somebody else's social media.
I've seen them go on WeChat, which is China's kind of Instagram social media app, and they'll go to people's moments, which is kind of like their Twitter feed type thing.
Yeah.
And they'll take personal photos from there because they're not going to come up in reverse image searches.
Yes.
Because they're in an internal ecosystem in the Chinese internet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what happened with this particular instance is, of course, they're trying to thirst trap men is their main target. Of course, they target women as well.
Yeah.
They try to befriend them as like, oh, I'm your friend. I'm going to help you with,
Money,
financial
blah, blah.
investments and stuff. But they take pictures of very pretty or sexy women, Asian women all the time because, well, I guess
That's what they have access to.
That's who they are.
Yep.
And they take these pictures and then they like feed them to you slowly, and they'll talk about, oh, what are your hobbies? Oh, I like travel. Then they'll show like a picture of them, at the beach or something, and then they'll show a picture of them at the gym. I like to go gym, but they're using someone else's pictures.
They basically build lore around these pictures they've stolen.
Yeah, and it actually, I got proven they were stolen because when my video about the scammer named Salad did pretty well, okay, it got a lot of views, and obviously the Instagram star or whoever it was that their pictures were stolen, they got a lawyer to contact me to say, hey, take those pictures down.
Which makes sense.
Because it's negatively affecting her career and her life, which I didn't realize. I really just thought they were just some random like stock photos or whatever.
Sure.
So of course I blurred her face out. I'm not out there to cause trouble for anyone, but it just shows you that's what they do. They steal people's identities and then go out there and try and cause trouble for you. But now let's talk about the evolution of the scam. I'm not going to give you a blow by blow, but I'll start just how it always starts. I'll tell you how it started. And this person, they are named Chen. So they came along and said, "Hi, Mike, how was your day at work?" As usual. That's the first message. I said, "Great. How about you, Chen?"
So you pretended to
I
be
pretend
the
to be
guy.
Mike, yeah. And then she's like, "Yes, I'm Ruby Chen." I said, "I know a Ruby. We spoke before."
So let me just highlight something here.
Yeah.
The whole crux of this is that they're supposed to use a wrong name and then apologize and say, "Oh, let's be friends anyway."
Yeah.
You pretended to be the fake Mark.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then also pretended to know her.
Yeah, she said, "Is it true? I'm sorry, I don't remember it at all." So I said, "Strange, you were helping me to do some crypto investment, remember? I changed $5,000 into USDC on Coinbase, and then we were going to transfer it to your friend's BTC box."
Now I have to explain
Yeah.
that is exactly what they make you do.
Yes.
They make you go to Coinbase, transfer money into USDC coin,
Yes.
and then put it on this fake crypto site, which
Yeah.
is usually called BTC box, right?
It's there is a real BTC box, which is I think out of Japan or Korea or something, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
a real
right.
thing.
Yes, we looked
So
at
what they
the
do,
Japanese, yeah.
they use like a derivative of it. So it'll be BTC box dot something,
Yeah.
or just slightly different. So if you looked up BTC box, you'd think, oh, it's safe.
Yes.
But it's actually not. They give you like a different address.
Yeah, we went through the about pages and they're all Chinese.
Yeah, and it was just all nonsense and spelling errors and everything. So anyway, she says, "Really? why don't you take screenshots of your exchange and show me? So obviously, like, if this was really genuine, they'd be like, what the hell is this guy going on about?
Yeah.
But I explained the whole scam to her, and she's like, oh, really? Show me the screenshots of the transfer, you know? Anyway, so after a while, she's like, oh, no, that probably wasn't me. He tries to get around it. But I sent her a picture of the previous scammer just for the hell of it, because, you know. So I said, no, oh, you sure this isn't you? And I sent the pictures like, oh, no, sorry, that's not me. My name's Ruby Chen. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, but she said her name was Ruby too. Okay. She looks so similar to you. Any photos? So she sent me photos. I'll show you what, what she sent me now. Now, whoever this is that she is using, I think is Korean. And I'll tell you why, okay? Well, first of all, she asked me what I look like. I made one of those fake, what is that website called?
This person doesn't exist.
Yeah, this person doesn't exist.com. I created a fake thing, sent to her, and she's like, oh, you look very young. How old are you? Blah, 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 usual stuff, right? I'm not going to go into the details. But after the usual back and forth, I told her I was a hedge fund manager and all this kind of nonsense.
Whoa!
And then she's
thought
like,
she got a fat pig.
Yeah, she really did, because that's what you want to do is you want to build their hopes up, that you've got a lot of money.
Yeah.
But at this point, I was kind of fatigued by these scammers, so I was just trying to like piss her off, basically. So I said, yeah, I do crypto investment, and trying to throw her off, so that she thinks it's not worth it. But she kept like trying to still talk to me about these like short-term crypto investments.
I do want to highlight here in these scams, the nature of the scam is to get people that know nothing.
Yes.
They want people that know nothing, like usually older people they want.
That's what they want.
You're trying to make her basically really upset because it's like, I waste my time on this hedge fund manager that already knows crypto really well.
Yes, that was my plan. But she still kept trying to push as if she just ignored what I was saying. Anyway, yeah, she's going on about short term this and that, and her uncle has a great method of doing this. And
her uncle,
her uncle. Okay, she brings up
this went on for months, eh?
Yeah, this went on for over a month. Yeah. So I mean, she sent here. You can take a look. She sent me pictures of herself like at yoga. So I mean, does her head not look very small?
Oh, dude, and this is the tiny head filter. I don't know why they do this, but so many of these really badly filtered photos, they'll make their head minuscule, and it doesn't match the body. It looks awful.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, right? Anyway, I want to bring you into, first of all, how I figured out that she's Korean, and then I want to bring you into like the evolution of this scam, right? She sends me pictures of, because, we get to talking about hobbies. So, like, what's your hobby? So she sends me a picture of herself playing, like...
Video golf.
No,
video golf is Korean.
Yeah.
It is Korean.
And also, there's Korean writing on the wall.
Makes sense.
So...
yeah.
I'm like...
She didn't think you'd figure that out.
No, she didn't think so. So I'm like, oh, are you in Korea?
Right.
I said, you're in Korea now? She's like, no. This is my Korean friend's house.
Your friend's house would have a brand of a establishment on their wall.
Yeah, exactly. This is my friend's house. Yeah. So ridiculous. Anyway, so, it's easy to catch them out. But, okay, here's the part where it started to get very interesting to me. I told her that I invest in vintage cars, okay? Because I know that I can back that up if there are any questions that come along, right? Because I love cars and, I go to Cars and Coffee and stuff. So I got tons of pictures of like cars.
Of other people's
vintage cars.
Perfect, yeah.
So I'm like, I invest in vintage cars because she was asking like how else I do investments, right? Because she's trying to get me to do this crypto investment thing. So I sent her some pictures of Cars and Coffee and like, this is my collection or whatever, and she's like, oh, that's very interesting. And then she's like, my uncle also likes to collect classic cars. And so I'm like, yeah, all right. So I start to throw her off the scent a little bit, and I choose a car that I actually am not interested in, which is Porsche, right? I know you love
I'm
Porsches.
A Porsche guy, yeah.
That's not my thing, right?
Sure.
I like American muscle cars. So I'm like, yeah, I like Porsches, like classic 911s and stuff. So then she goes, and all of a sudden, she's like, oh, I've got a Porsche, right? I'm like, yo, really? You've got one? She's like, yeah. So she goes and sends me photos of this 911,
right?
Which it looks to me, I don't know, what do you think? I feel like I'm going to show you the pictures, but I feel like it's, it looks like it's been taken in Canada.
Yeah, it could be Europe.
Oh, it could be Europe as well. And it's like a Porsche 911 Turbo S.
Yeah, it's a new one.
Yeah, so she's like, oh yeah, this is like, I like to drive this one around, blah, blah, blah. And sends me all the pictures of the interior and stuff.
One thing I will give her credit on is that if she was going to be driving around a 911 Turbo S, she would get an automatic one.
Yeah.
Because every single Chinese, wealthy Chinese girl definitely wants to drive an automatic.
Oh, of
They're
course.
not going to drive a manual.
Yeah, so I mean, look, the thing is she starts sending me car pictures, which, okay, fine. She's doing her homework. She's doing her due diligence, right?
Kind of, yeah.
But then she starts sending me actual videos. Now, this is the interesting thing. It's like, okay, not related to the cars, but previously you get a photo here and there, right? They kind of send you the yoga picture. They send you
it's
the
always
whatever.
exercise pictures. Like, I don't know what that is.
Well, I mean, I think they think that's a normal Western thing.
Right.
People take photos at the gym or whatever.
Sure.
And look, let's be honest. They just want to thirst trap people.
No, I get that. It's just, it's always that.
Yeah, because
it's like they got a mandate.
Yeah, exactly. You got to send the gym picture.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's like, "Oh, I'm busy driving in LA because I told her that I was in can't even remember now. I was somewhere on the West Coast. Yeah. So she's like, "Oh, I'm on the West Coast too. I'm in LA." So next minute she shows me a video of driving in the traffic in LA, and I was like, "This is bizarre." Now she's not speaking in the video.
Sure.
And you can't see her face in the video. It's just like, "Oh, look, I'm driving in LA" type thing, and it's like the outside, the billboards and everything. So they obviously have people that they pay that, like, I guess, Chinese people living in the States, in these various places that they just contact through WeChat, and they're like, hey, listen,
a lot of sense.
Yeah, we need a shot of this. So they get that. And then I'm talking about hobbies and what are your plans? Like, oh, I'm planning to go to Universal Studios this weekend, she tells me, which is bizarre, okay? But of course it's famous. Everybody knows Universal Studios is in Los Angeles, right? So you can go there. And then later she sends me a little clip from Universal Studios as well of like just one of the outdoor shows that they have. Just a short thing, like 3, 4, 5 second clip of just like, I think, oh, I'm at Universal Studios, And that's an extra layer.
Yeah.
Because now it's really starting to build trust as if this is a real person.
It's also a bit dumb on their part. It's very smart to get people's trust, but it's also dumb on their part to start making this too international. You really, really don't want to start doing this in Western countries because even if the people don't know they're being co-opted for this, which I think they do, by the way.
Of course, if you're getting paid to do something like this.
I think that's probably foolish, but it's also very lucrative because if you think about it, the guy that's a little bit distrustful but has a lot of money to throw something at this, maybe he'd see something like that and be like, you know what? Oh, maybe she is actually real. It's not what I heard about.
Yeah. Yeah, so it just kind of kept going that way. Little video clips here and there, which were up to date, like the correct timing. You could tell by the weather and whatever that it was taken at around about the same time that it's supposed to be, right? So it's not like archival footage from like 10 years ago, 5 years ago. It's recent stuff.
Yeah.
So they're reaching out to people to get little clips. So that's one of the biggest evolutions of this, is to now try to make it even more believable by having these video clips that are timely inserted into their whole scam.
That makes sense.
And then also she starts to send me pictures of like classic cars that she spotted in the traffic.
Interesting.
Which I thought was very interesting.
They definitely have a huge bank of this kind of stuff. And then a huge resource of people they can use. I
mean, that's the thing. They probably, when they find out what your interests are, whatever your hobby is, they just like try to find something so that they can prove that they're interested in it too, and like build a better bond or whatever the case may be. But I found it very strange that she'd be going to these kind of lengths. Anyway, so it just kind of continued along those lines, talking about cars, and she was very knowledgeable about cars all of a sudden. Which
she obviously got someone to help her out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like she would ask questions about like, what car do you like, and then then she'd be like, oh yeah, I like the this, and I like an RX-7 or this or that. You know what I mean? She'd actually be able to talk about not just the brand and the name of the car, but like the submodel as well. Yeah. She actually knew stuff. Like I sent her pictures from a Cars and Coffee, right?
Yeah.
Which you can see over here. In fact, these are just screenshots from some random YouTuber who went to Cars and Coffee, okay? And she's like, are you driving the green Porsche 718?
Right.
I mean, she actually knew that.
She probably asked one of her coworkers.
Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is that they have these resources to actually go more in depth than you would expect. Because with the previous scammers, they're very sloppy and they're just straightforward. They don't put this much effort in, I found. It's always like, oh, yeah, hi, how are you? Did you eat breakfast? By the way, I've got this crypto investment opportunity.
Obviously, what happened is they saw a better return when they started putting more effort into it.
Yeah. And also, I think the market's become tougher for them now.
Yeah.
Think about it. People have watched videos like mine. It's the knowledge is out there now that this is a big issue, this whole slaughtering the pig scam. And so they're just like, well, you know what? I'm not interested in taking up these very obvious scammers, so they need to up their game in order to like catch a fish, so to speak, you know?
Makes sense, yeah.
So it basically ended where I just kept stalling as I do, because I'm not going to invest in their stupid crypto, you know? So it's just back and forth.
And there is no crypto, by the way. It's just everyone needs to be very clear. There is no crypto.
Well, they do. They get you to sign up to Coinbase, which
there's
is
no investment.
Yes, there's no investment. And Coinbase is legitimate.
Yes.
That's how people buy and sell Bitcoin and other coins, right? They get you to buy USDC, which is the US dollar coin, which is tied to the US dollar as far as its worth and value is. And then they get you to transfer that to their so-called,
It's just a
transfer
account
site
where your money goes.
So basically what you end up doing is transferring it into their crypto wallet.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be this investment platform, but it's fake. And when the money goes in there, they can make it look like your money's in there, but you can never get it out.
Nope.
And they can say, oh, it's busy trading, and they can show you fake numbers that it's getting more and more, and you can add more, and that's how they get you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the conversation keeps going on. She keeps trying to get me into crypto, and I'm like, crypto's risky, because, you know, crypto's gone crash now. Crypto's risky, I'm still doing this. And then she's like, I'll tell you what I said. I said, crypto's too risky. I did buy some, but I'm just playing with that. She says, I prefer a steady yield. So if I invest in a project, I pay attention to it and make sure it makes money, and I invest to make money, not to play.
They always say this. I'm doing this not to play.
Yeah, exactly. So at this point, you can tell she's really pissed off because she's not getting the money. And I just every time it gets to this point where she's really trying to push this, I go back to entertainment or something. I'm like, oh yeah, so what do you like to do in your spare time? Or, you know, what is this, have you done anything interesting? So I said, that makes sense. What do you like to do for excitement, right? She's like, you know, for fun. I said, excitement. She's question mark. I said, for fun. What do you like to do for fun? And she's like, she just goes completely ape on me. She's like, she just goes like, seems I don't have time to continue chatting with a liar. You should go home to your mother for excitement.
Whoa, that's pretty insane.
Yeah. So she just goes completely crazy. She starts swearing at me, says you should go home to your mother for excitement. You know, it's just... So I'm like, I don't know.
What does that mean? I think she took your words the wrong way. Like when you said excitement. It's funny.
but it doesn't even matter because at this point you got to understand these scammers they're trying to thirst trap people, right? So like you can say whatever you want, but she just had it, right?
Yeah.
She'd had it. So she obviously just lost her patience.
Yeah.
You know, after investing so much time every day sending me pictures of her breakfast, you know, talking about cars, which she's obviously not interested in, having to get people to send her videos to make it more believable. And I just am not taking the bait. So she was just like, screw it, don't contact me again. I mean, she's the one who contacted me in the first place, right? So, and that was the end of that. But I think it's important for people to realize just how much it's evolved.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you've definitely had a part in that evolution.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's good, though.
It's kind of like when we call out the Chinese propaganda, we kind of help them level up as well.
Yeah, we do. It's an unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, guys, I think at the end of the day, once again, just stay vigilant. And if a stranger contacts you out of nowhere and is
not what you think it is,
a pretty Asian girl, you can be guaranteed that it's a scam.
Yeah, like 100% of the time.
But please, like, be careful. They're getting very good.
Yeah.
She also sent me voice messages, by the way.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that. And the voice messages were also very convincing. It was definitely her. Whoever the scammer was sending the messages. In her broken English. But the fact of the matter is she sent me messages, she sent me videos, she sent me pictures. She really built it up as if she was a genuine person. Mm-hmm. Of course, I don't really know what she really looks like.
No, we have no idea.
Yeah. I guess that's it. Anything you want to add?
No. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see you on the next adventure. And until then, you know the drill. As always, stay awesome.